Hi, I'm Danny with Northwest Spiritual Living,
And I'm Sherry Hoffman with the North Seattle Spiritual Sangha.
and we're happily joined today with our friend from California,
Adam Jackson.
Hi, Adam. Welcome.
Thank you. Lovely to be here.
Here's a question here. Is there a more or less predictable journey that you've witnessed with seekers? I mean, you get to see a lot of different seekers being a teacher. That seekers have in common, or is awakening largely unpredictable to where generalities cannot be applied?
Yeah, that's a good question.
I mean, we use the word linear, but yet there seems like maybe there's some predictable things, or maybe not. That's what I'm putting to you.
Yeah, I mean, I feel like I could speak to some generalities, but I also sort of really want to give a very clear disclaimer that everybody's path is unique. And it's really important for people to honor their experience, like the truth of their experience. So often when we hear stories about, what the spiritual path looks like or what the stages are and so on, people can start making their own experience wrong because it's not following that formula. So I really want to sort of give that sort of clear disclaimer for any sort of general map that I might offer. It's like that it's your experience is absolutely true, absolutely valid, and totally unique. So, and that's like, in a way, that's the most important message people to get. A number of people I sit with who they read a spiritual book and then they make their own experience wrong because it's not the same as what they read in the spiritual book. And it's like, the people who are writing the spiritual books can't say what this is anyway, and they know that. Like, I mean, they're trying to share this thing that can't be shared with words, and they're sharing from their own personal experience, maybe, but it's not your experience. So look, to really, like, your experience is never wrong. You're not having the wrong experience.
Right.
Thank you.
And it's going to look different, and it's going to have a different description than anybody else's. So that feels like really, really important for people, for everyone to appreciate.
How do you overcome that as a teacher? I mean, how do you convey that? I suppose something like you just did there as a disclaimer, but surely there's a big tendency for people to go, he wants us to walk with one shoe off, I'm thinking of a Monty Python,
Right.
Life of Brian movie, I mean, there's a real human tendency to imitate and to focus in and assume that Adam's way is the way. If he, you know what I mean? How do you kind of overcome that with people?
And one of the things I do is I don't tend to tell a lot of stories about my own experience because of the risk of that people can think like, oh, this is what's supposed to be happening for me, but of course it's not. The other thing is that I'm very aware of that tendency. So when I'm working with people, I'm aware of like how often people are invalidating their own experience. And I'm sitting in a space where I'm totally validating their experience. Like, yes, that's what's here. It's like, it's a good thing it's here. Let's explore what it is. Let's touch it. Let's be intimate with it. It's not a problem. It's not something to be gotten rid of. Like what we think about it is often false. It's never what is actually happening, and often it's completely unhelpful. So it's often really good to question our beliefs about what we think is going on. But it's really important to validate the actual experience. That's not a mistake. That's like what's here to be felt right now, what's here to be met, what's here to be intimate with. And the path is always deeper in, it's always like, let's get closer. It's never like, let's get rid of.
I noticed such a relief in my body, when you said, your experience cannot be wrong. Oh, good. If I'm not doing it the way everybody else is doing it, or joining in or whatever. That was just it just felt really good. So thank you for that.
Yeah. I mean, it's so absurd that we would even entertain that question, really. I mean, where the hell did that question even come from? I mean, like, everyone's having this experience that's arising from who knows where. Like, we're not making it happen. It's like, it's just happening.
Yeah.
And then we've got this question that comes up, like, is this supposed to be happening? Is it happening okay here? Am I doing it right? It's like, it's absurd.
Yeah, this is different than his.
This is what the universe is presenting right now. It's not making a mistake.
Well, we have an infinite
capacity. Go ahead, sorry.
Infinite capacity for deluding ourselves, so I think that might be the key there.
And I think shame as well. I mean, it's like that theme of, like, you know, we don't trust ourselves. We don't trust our experience.
Yeah.
We don't trust what's happening. Is we're typically going around believing like there's something really wrong with me. You know, this is why I didn't get the love of holding from my parents, or affection. You know, it wasn't perfect. It's like, so we believe that we've taken it on board. There's something really wrong with me.
So shame, that maybe that accounts for the sheep characteristic that we have as humans. You know, we're always looking to be led around. You know, I mean, you can see it everywhere.
Yeah. It's like, well, if I know that I'm broken and wrong, then it's like hopefully the answer's out there somewhere. Someone else might have, you know, somebody else is going to be, you know, have what should be happening here, and then I'll like try to fit in with that.
Yeah, imitate that, and I'll get there.
Mm.
Yeah, wow.
What I'm noticing that I'm thinking is it's the teacher-student relationship. Sometimes people elevate the teacher and put themselves down instead of kind of seeing the teacher as more of a guide or a facilitator. Have you found that to be true?
Yeah, and I'm always sort of aware of that possibility, and you know, often I'll use the term "we" when I'm working with someone, because it sort of cuts through that shame issue, like the idea that like my suffering is personal, because it's so not. I mean, and you know, the reason we can communicate, the reason we can be inside it all together is because it's ours. It's not like, this is my shame and this is my terrible. It's just all of ours. It's just so easy to relate to, you know, what's happening for people when we're really like willing to like feel it, willing to go in there to feel the pain that's there. So it's always, for me, that teaching is not really about teaching. It's more about that that invitation to intimacy.
Mm.
You know, let's go in there together. Let's meet whatever it is there that typically we believe is wrong, shouldn't be happening. Is a huge, you know, like, and when we go in there together, we never find anything that's wrong or bad or evil or any of that. We never ever find that. It's so reliable. It's not what we imagine it is at all.
Yeah, sharing the burden always makes it lighter when you're not just carrying it yourself.
Yeah.
Or just acknowledging, a lot of times we'll do that too.
We'll lighten it.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
And shame is so about that sense of separation, like that imagine like I'm the bad one. You know, there's something uniquely broken about. Other people might have it together and they're behaving normally, but like there's something abnormal and wrong here. And that's sort of the root of shame. You know, something shouldn't exist here. My life shouldn't exist.
Mm. Thank you. That was a very nice, full, juicy answer. Can you describe the pivotal point in your life that led you to leave your career as a professor at the university and how that felt?
Yeah, for me, you know, once I sort of got a taste for what was possible, like the sort of, you know, dropping it beneath my precious beliefs and ideas that I was totally devoted to as an academic, you know, and spent all my life cultivating. Once I like made contact with, oh wow, there's a lot more here than my beliefs. You know, once I sort of had that experience of this is not what I think it is at all. My devotion, my passion turned towards exploration of that, the integration of that. So it didn't make sense anymore to be continuing promoting academics and to be so engaged in that. It was sort of like sharing who I was, 10 years earlier or something, rather than like actually what wanted to happen now. So it was quite simple from that perspective. It was pretty clear that like this life was better without doing that. There was certainly some fear. It's like, who leaves an academic job? Especially if you're a political scientist. Maybe in other jobs, other disciplines, maybe you have some marketable skills, but political scientists don't really. So there was some wow, am I crazy? Is this like no one does this,
Right.
But it just seemed kind of obvious to me. So it was that sort of taking that leap of faith and really, really trusting what was alive for me, what felt true.
Did that happen? Did that process happen fairly rapidly for you? It sounds like the old way of being motivated through ego dropped away pretty rapidly. It sounds like you tell me there, because for most of us, it's the egoic motivation has been a process. In my own case, it was a long process of dropping away, and it's still going. Just dropping away. It becomes thinner and thinner and thinner and thinner. But it sounds like it had to, happen pretty quickly in your case. How was it though, Adam?
Yeah, I wouldn't say that. It's more like this is maybe sort of part of like how the path develops for most of us. To come back to an earlier question, that we get glimpses of the truth. We have that sort of visceral experience, and then sort of the conditioning comes back and things go back to normal. And it's like to really honor those glimpses that we have, and to sort of like turn towards those and to honor those and to move in a way that in alignment with those. So I was by no means free of the conditioning, and am by no means free of conditioning, I would say, just to make that clear.
Okay.
But it's like, but to not allow the conditioning to make the important decisions about like, are you going to continue doing a job that's not alive for you?
Yeah. Okay.
So like to have those sort of choices should come from like the deeper knowing, the deeper truth. Whatever surface conditioning is going on and so on, it's like just to not let that run the show.
And that becomes easier and easier as
and there's always
process goes, would you say?
Yeah, there's always this sort of survival anxiety, right? When we step into something new, a new way of being, when we let old conditioning go, it's like the conditioning is sort of like, you might die here. Like, this could be really, really bad for you. It's like, you don't know what's going to happen. Yeah. Yeah, absolutely. And it's like, and that's like the invitation is to be alive. Like that's the invitation here, is to actually be alive and like to be in that space of like, yes, we don't know what's going to happen. What will happen? And to have that become like when we see that movement, like to go there anyway, like even though we know that, like the fear's here and like I don't know what's going to happen, I might die, to go there anyway when it's alive, when it's calling us, it's like so important to go there. And that's how the fear starts to, like how it starts to get easier for us, the movement gets smoother. Because we realize, like, oh, I don't die. Wow, moving towards life doesn't kill me. And actually moving away from life doesn't make me any safer.
I'm certainly glad you made the choice that you did.
Yeah, me too. Yeah, I've never regretted it. Not for a moment. Yeah.
Fantastic.
Okay, well, we're going to take a couple-minute break here, and we'll be right back with Adam Jacksfield.
Right, thank you.